Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Magiera from Warsaw, Indiana, and I am running for the United States House of Representatives from the 3rd Congressional District of Indiana. Every day, career politicians and the massive administrative state that they support infringe upon our God-given natural rights and liberties. And in many cases, such as the drug and migration crisis at our southern border, non-government special interests and globalists are also part of the problem. So what, you ask, can be done to protect our borders, our safety, our lives, and our prosperity? The solution is in the Constitution, which was designed by the founders to secure our rights and liberties. What is required is to have elected representatives who will utilize wisdom and virtue to guide legislation made in pursuance of our constitutional republic. And this brings us to our present situation. In the May 2020 Republican primary election, I will be challenging the incumbent, Representative Jim Banks. The voters of Indiana 3 must make a choice. On the campaign trail, I am often asked, what differentiates me from the incumbent? That is a natural question, but the answer is complex. So, bit by bit, principle by principle, issue by issue, I will endeavor to explain. So, for this discussion, let us take up the subject of the crisis at the southern border, and more specifically, the wall. Also, let's assume that we all agree that the wall is to be composed of many types of physical barriers, natural as well as constructed, with both human as well as virtual patrolling. But it needs to be an effective border in order to protect against uninvited migrants, terrorists, drug smuggling, and illegal commerce. Since I do not currently hold elected office, it will be necessary to begin with the record of the incumbent's actions while in Congress. And indeed, on 2 occasions in the 115th Congress, both houses Republican majority, he has voted for the wall in one form or another. On 7/27/17, Jim Banks voted for H.R. 3219, Make America Secure Appropriations Act, 2018. This contains some funding, $1.57 billion, for the wall. However, the bill was never acted upon in the Senate. It is amazing how Republicans seem, at times, to be very adept, when in the majority, of negotiating with themselves in order to defeat themselves. Perhaps strict adherence to the Constitution could draw the party together to a more focused agenda. Again, on 12/20/2018, Jim Banks voted for H.R. 695, Department of Defense Appropriations Act 2018. This bill contained $5.7 billion for border barriers, but the Senate passed a bill that was not identical, and the differences could not be reconciled. Again, no wall. How could I possibly be different from someone who voted in favor of the wall? Well, for a congressman whose speaking backdrop is emblazoned with the words real conservative leadership, I would submit that he is not living up to the task. A leader would recognize that these massive funding bills are impractical, manipulative, and often contain unconstitutional sections. What would I do differently? Since I am not now, nor ever will I be, a career politician, I would be unafraid to confront leadership and special interests in any form, Republican, Democrat, presidential. House rules must change. Items like the wall, which is one part of the solution to the crisis at the southern border, must be extracted and voted upon as stand-alone bills. There is no need to get caught up in the controversies surrounding immigration and naturalization, as the wall is clearly constitutional under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. It is simply a means of regulating commerce with a foreign nation. Now, critics will say that I don't understand and that the federal government is too big to manage in any other way. But no, I do understand, and I understand only too well. If a government is too big to fail, too big to manage, or too big to shut down, well, then it's obvious. It's just too big. In medicine, we know that tumors will necrose when they outgrow their blood supply. And this is the same situation we see today with our federal government, feeding like a malignancy off we the people. But do not despair. There is a solution, and the Constitution's solution is it. The founders in Article 1, Section 8 outlined a central government with strictly limited and enumerated powers. Congress has miserably failed the people by delegating powers which have allocated the formation of the massive, unaccountable, and wasteful administrative state. If elected to Congress from the 3rd District of Indiana, I pledge to constitutionally legislate, not delegate, so you won't have to litigate to reclaim your God-given natural rights and liberties. So in 2020, I implore the Hoosiers of the 3rd District to vote for a candidate who understands what is at stake and who knows that the only solution is not career politics as usual, but a strict 100% adherence to the Founders' Constitution. I implore you to vote for Dr. Chris Magiera for Congress. Thank you. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, or share. I'm Chris Magiera, and I approve this message. Paid for by friends at Chris Magiera Incorporated.